Evening, ma'am.
Well, well, what can I do for you?
I'm collecting for the Evening Star.
Oh, I didn't know stars took up collections.
It's the newspaper, ma'am.
I know. I was only joking. Feebly. Will you have a drink?
No, ma'am. No, thank you, ma'am. I don't drink at the job.
Well, then let me see. No, I haven't got a dime. I'm not the lady of the house. I'm a sister from Mississippi. I'm one of those poor relations you've heard tell about.
That's hot, ma'am. I'll drop by later.
Hey, could you give me a light?
Sure. This doesn't always work.
It's temperamental. Thank you. What time is it?
15 to 7, ma'am.
So late? Don't you just love these long, rainy afternoons in New Orleans? When an hour isn't just an hour, but a piece of eternity dropped in your hands. And who knows what to do with it? You, didn't get wet in the rain?
No, ma'am. I stepped inside.
Into a drugstore and had a soda?
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate?
Cherry.
Cherry.
A cherry soda.
You make my mouth water.
Well, better be going, ma'am.
Young man. Young man. Has anyone ever told you look like a young prince out of the Arabian Nights?
No, ma'am.
Well, you do, honey lamb. Come over here. Come over here like I told you. I want to kiss you. Just once. Softly and sweetly on the mouth. Run along now. It'd be nice to keep you, but I gotta be good and keep my hands off of children. Adios. I understand what that is.
To be lonely?
I loved someone too once. And the person I loved, I lost.
Dead? A man?
A boy. Just a boy. When I was a very young girl. When I was 16, I made the discovery. Love. All at once and much too completely. It was like you suddenly turned a blinding light on something that was always half in shadow. That's how it struck the world for me. But I was unlucky. Deluded. There was a difference about the boy. A softness, a tenderness, a nervousness that wasn't like a man's, although he wasn't the least bit effeminate looking. Still, that thing was there. He came to me for help, but I didn't know that. I didn't know anything until after our marriage, when we'd run away and come back, and all I knew was I'd failed him in some mysterious way and wasn't able to give him the help he needed, but couldn't speak of. He was in the quicksands clutching at me, but I wasn't holding him out. I was slipping in with him, but I didn't know that. I didn't know anything except that I loved him unendurably, but wasn't able to help him or myself. And then I found out, in the worst of all possible ways, by coming into a room that I thought was empty, but wasn't empty. It had two people in it. The boy I married, and an older man who had been his friend for years. Afterwards, we pretended that nothing had been discovered. Yes, we all drove out to Moon Lake Casino, all drinking and laughing all the way. We danced the Vasoviana. And suddenly, in the middle of the dance, the boy I married broke away from me and ran out of the casino. I ran out. All did. After a shot. We ran out and gathered around this terrible thing at the edge of the lake. I couldn't get near for the crowding. Somebody grabbed my arm. Don't get any closer. You don't want to see. See? See what? Then I heard voices say, Alan, the gray boy. He had stuck a revolver in his mouth and fired, so that the back of his head had been blown away. It was because in the middle of the dance, my able to stop myself, I had suddenly said, I know, I saw, you disgust me. And then the searchlight that had been turned on the world was turned off again. Never a moment since has there been any light stronger than this kitchen candle.
You need somebody. I need somebody. Could it be you and me, Blanche?
Sometimes there's God so quickly. Had you forgotten your invitation to supper?
I wasn't going to see you anymore.
Wait a minute, I can't hear you. You talk so little that when you do say something, I don't want to miss a single syllable of it. What am I looking around here for? Oh yes, liquor. There's been so much confusion this evening that I am boxed out of my mind. Here's something. Southern Comfort. I wonder what that is.
If you don't know, it must belong to Stan.
Get your foot off the bed. It has a clean cover on it. Of course, you men don't notice things like that. I've done so much on the place since I've been here.
I bet you have.
You saw it before I came. Look at this room. It could almost be dainty. And I want to keep it that way.
Aren't you leaving pretty soon now?
I wonder if this stuff ought to be mixed with something. It's so sweet. It's terribly sweet. Why, it's a liqueur, I believe. Yes, it's a liqueur. I'm afraid you won't like it, but try it. Maybe
I already told you I don't want none of his liquor, and I mean it. You know, you ought to lay off his liquor. He says you've been lapping it up all summer like a wildcat.
What a fantastic statement. Fantastic of him to say it, and fantastic of you to repeat it. I won't descend to such a level of cheap accusations, to answer them even. What's the matter tonight? I see something in your eyes.
It's dark in here.
I like it dark. The dark is comforting to me.
I don't think I ever seen you in the light. That's a fact.
Is it?
I never seen you in the afternoon.
Well, whose fault is that?
You never want to go out in the afternoon.
Why, Mitch, you're at the plant in the
Oh,
afternoon.
not Sunday afternoon. You never want to go out until after 6, and then it's always someplace that's not lighted much.
There's some obscure meaning in this.
What
I
it
failed to
means
catch it.
is I've never gotten a real good look at you, Blanche. Let's turn on a light in here.
Light? Which light? What for?
This one with the paper thing on it.
Oh, what did you do that for?
So I can get a look at you good and plain.
Of course you don't mean that to be insulting.
Oh no, just realistic.
I don't want realism. I want magic.
Magic.
Yes, magic. I try to give that to people. I do misinterpret things to them. I don't tell the truth, I tell what ought to be the truth. And if that's a sin, then let me be damned for it. Don't turn on the light! Ah!
I don't mind you being older than what I thought, but all the rest of it, Christ. That pitch about your ideals being old-fashioned, and all that malarkey you've been dishing out all summer. Well, I knew you weren't 16 anymore, but I was fool enough to believe that you were straight.
Who told you I wasn't straight? My loving brother-in-law? You believed him.
No, I called him a liar at first, and then I checked up on the story. First, I talked to our supply man who travels to Laurel, and then I talked directly over long distance to this merchant.
Who is this merchant?
Kieferber.
The merchant Kieferber of Laurel? I know the man. He whistled at me once, so I put him in his place. Now for revenge, he makes up stories about me.
3 people, Kieferber, Stanley, and Shaw, swore to them. Oh, didn't you stay at this hotel called Flamingo?
Flamingo? No. I stayed in a hotel called Tarantula Arms.
Tarantula Arms.
Yes, a big spider. That's where I brought my victims. Yes, I had many intimacies with strangers. After the death of Alan, intimacies with strangers was all I seemed able to fill my empty heart with. I think it was panic. Just panic that drove me from one to another, searching for some protection in the most unlikely of places, even at last in a 17-year-old boy. But someone wrote the superintendent, this woman is morally unfit for her position. True, I guess, unfit somehow. Anyway, so I came here. I was played out. You know what played out means? My youth had suddenly gone up the water spout and I met you. You said you needed somebody. Well, I needed somebody too. And I thanked God for you. You seemed to be gentle, a cleft in the rock of the world that I could hide in. I guess I was thinking, hoping for too much.
Flores para los muertos.
Kiefer, Stanley, and Shaw tied an old tin can to the tail of the kite.
You lied to me, Blanche.
Don't say I lied to
Lies,
you.
lies, inside and out, all lies!
Never inside. I didn't lie in my heart. I was true as God in my heart to all of you. Always. Always.
Flores.
What? Oh. Somebody outside.
Flores. Flores para los muertos.
No! No, not now! Not now!
Flores para los muertos.
I lived in a house where dying old women would remember their dead men.
Flores. Flores para los muertos.
Rumble and fade. Regrets. Recriminations.
Coronas.
If you'd done this, it wouldn't have cost me that. Legacies.
Coronas para los muertos.
And other things. Such as blood-stained pillow slips. Her linen needs changing. Yes, Mother, but couldn't we get a colored girl to do it?
Flores.
Of course we couldn't.
Flores
Everything
para los
gone, but
muertos.
death.
Flores.
I used to sit here and she used to sit over there and death was as close as you are.
Coronas.
We didn't dare even admit we'd heard of it.
Coronas para los muertos.
Death,
Flores.
the opposite of desire.
Flores.
So could you wonder? How could you possibly wonder?
Coronas.
Not far from Belle Reve. Before we lost Belle Reve, there was a camp where they trained young soldiers. On Saturday nights, they would go out into town and get drunk. On the way back, they would stagger into my lawn and call, "Blanche! Blanche!" The deaf old lady remained and suspected nothing. Sometimes I would slip out to answer their calls. Later on, the paddy wagon would gather them up like daisies the long way. What do you want?
What I've been missing all along.
Then marry me, Mitch.
No, you're not clean enough to bring in the house with my mother.
Go away then.